Hi guys, we're Scenes Productions. I'm Sam,
Well, I'm Ben.
and today we're going to be speaking about Evaluation 7, and the question asking is...
Looking back at your preliminary task, what progression do you feel you have made from that to the full product? The main problem we had with the prelim was the fact of lack of planning. It actually led to quite a long walk around the school trying to find a proper location. It took us about 20-25 minutes to find an actual classroom that we could use. In the end, we managed to find a technology classroom. It wasn't ideal because, as you can see, the chairs, they're quite loud, so the camera tended to pick that up over the actual actors. We also had problems with the lighting. As you can see, the actor here, in our original takes, the lighting would overcome his face, so we wouldn't be able to see what we was filming.
Meaning the camera would focus on the light instead of the actor's face. Another issue that we faced was that we filmed in portrait, which we realised when we come to edit, meaning we had to reshoot the whole thing. One of the main issues I think we faced, which wasted a lot of time on the first time doing it, was that we just couldn't control our laughter, because we didn't have any experience in acting before, and just the concept of filming each other and then watching it back, we just thought it was quite funny because we were quite immature about it, which was something that we overcame when filming our final piece.
Another problem we had was with the 180-degree rule. Maybe not as important as the other factors, but we found it a lot trickier than we first assumed. Just working out, it took us a good few minutes to work out where the camera should be behind. And the final problem was with the match on action. The match in action we found quite hard to get the actor to come through the door in the same way that he approached it. So that proved a struggle, and as you can see when we was filming, the character who actually walks in begins to smile, which again highlights that immaturity. This was our original film, entitled Paranoia. It's based on a horror film, and as you can see our main character here, he's haunted by the death of one of his friends who died about a year ago. The inspiration for this came from the film Unfriended. But during the filming we realised that it didn't suit. We didn't really want our ghostly character to be featured, however we struggled to make it look intimidating without actually revealing him. So it ended up just looking really unprofessional.
I think one of the main issues that we faced in it was that it was hard firstly to film, as the first parts were based on receiving and sending text messages. I don't know if anyone noticed there, but the timings were off. That one there said 17 past 3, but the text before was about 10 past. That was a real issue that we faced. Even there, you can hear the director say action. It just essentially just looks like a poor horror film, which is why after the first day of filming we decided that we didn't want to do it anymore, and we moved on to a new task, a new thriller, which is what we've made now.
This is our final cut, God of the Hill. It's a gang crime thriller based around following a 17-year-old teenager. We was really happy with this product, and especially with regards to the filming. We worked a lot better with our time compared to the original film, Paranoia. We didn't waste as much time. We was a lot more dedicated and focused in this one, as you can see, just a professional quality. We faced a few problems with regards to the storyline as well. A lot of people didn't understand the double cross, which led to more refilming. The double cross actually comes at the end when the main character is hit by the shovel. People didn't really understand it, so we had to include this scene with this character. We didn't have this in the original one, just to build that relationship between the two. We was also a bit more serious with it. We didn't waste much time. Also the lighting, we felt it complemented the mise en scene really well, and the actual setting and representation.
A lot of the reshoots, I'd just like to add, come from after we received our audience and teacher feedback, like the double cross issue. We obviously as a group, because we designed the script, we understood what was happening, but the audience didn't, which is why it led to that scene with the second actor sitting on the wall, so that the audience knew from the start that he was in the first cut from the start.
Yeah. And then there was the editing. So Sam was the main editor for the film, so he could tell you a bit more about that.
So overall, the editing for this, the final cut, was a lot easier than both the preliminary and Paranoia, mainly because I'd become more familiar with iMovie, which is a program we used, and how to use things like transitions how to cut, speed up things, just basically the basics of it, which would help us make this final cut. Essentially, one of the main issues that we faced when putting in the credits was that we only had a set amount, like set templates, which meant that if we chose like credits here, for example, all the if you had a line at the top and one underneath, it would only come up on the right side of the screen, meaning that at the start when we had to have when we spoke about the actors that were starring in the film, like David Mackenzie down there, would only appear, if we chose, would only appear on the right side. But after I did some searching around on YouTube for how to put in more titles and how to embed them into the film, etc., I come up with a sort of website called Pixlr, in which you can make text and then implement it into your own video. And after watching some tutorials on YouTube, I learned how to do it, which is how we came up with the final titles that appeared both to the left and the right.
There were a few more problems with the editing. In the first cut we had a lot of fade to blacks, and quite a few people mentioned to us about why is there so many fade to blacks, so we felt that was something we had to take out.
Yeah.
So as you can see, obviously they are still present because it helps build the story and show the character's progression to where he's going.
Tension as well.
Builds tension as well. The other problem was with the music. We struggled to find the music. After speaking with our media studies teacher, he recommended something a bit classical, a bit eerie. Again,
something to help build the suspense.
Yeah, and add to the mystery.
Which is why we found an artist called Ben Sound and his song Deep Blue, which is what we implemented into our thriller. We found a few songs before and tried them in there, but it didn't really fit the tone, because if you listen to the soundtrack that we have during this thriller, it sounds, well, it's kind of relatable to the one that's in Top Boy, which is what we hugely based our thriller on, which is why when I heard the Ben Sound's Deep Blue song, it just felt like it was just good, and it just fit the vibe that we was trying to produce.
So overall, like through the progression, what we've shown is planning is essential. Like the saying goes, fail to prepare, prepared to fail. Obviously, as we illustrated earlier with the prelim, the lack of preparation caused us to spend a lot of time. You bear in mind the prelim was about 30 seconds long, this is about 2.5 minutes. It only took us about maybe double, triple the time, which for standards of an amateur media group we were quite impressed with. The title was something that we actually struggled to think of. We actually
struggled to agree on as well.
We struggled to agree on. We had a lot of kind of disagreements. I was looking up synonyms for drug-related terms.
Yeah.
And then we actually came across this name on a social media website, Instagram, which we felt fit the film, because obviously being set in the modern era, technology, social media, it is an important part, and we need to implement that in our film.
I'd just like to add one last issue that we did come into that we forgot to mention was the portrait shot at the end.
Oh right, yeah.
This shot here, if you see it, where the main actor is obviously been hit by the shovel and then ends up on the floor, and the Kingpin steps over him. This was originally shot in portrait, which was obviously a big no-no, which is why it led to the reshoot of that scene as well as many others. But ultimately, that was like something we could not have in at all, which led to a main reshoot.
Yeah. To be honest, overall, I feel our film, for an amateur media group, is really good. Obviously, there's things you can add, things you can change, but for a first attempt at a film, I think it's really good. So, this has been Teams Productions. I'm Ben.
I'm Sam.
And thank you for watching.